It's Joeysworld.
Well, hello there. Today we're going to discuss everything needed to know for any autism who experience meltdowns. Because back in the day, I used to be one of them.
So, would you mind telling everyone what a meltdown is?
One of the meltdowns back in the day when I was this tall.
Well, let's even go back a step further. A meltdown is when things are spiraling out of control for you, and because of outside input coming into you, you can't control how you process it.
That's right.
And that would cause a meltdown. Now, meltdown, a lot of people say, is a tantrum, but they're two very different things, because a tantrum happens when you can't get something that you want.
That's right.
Like, say, you're a child and mom and dad say, you say, I want ice cream, and mom and dad say, well, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, you can't have ice cream, and the child proceeds to act up because they can't have it. A meltdown is when sometimes, and this is my opinion, when your triggers hit you and you can't process them. But let's talk, when we were younger, they didn't even use the term meltdown. They used the term, we used to say, uh-oh, Joey's going off. He's going off again. And I know this is a very hard subject for you to talk about. This is probably the hardest for you, right?
No, I understand it. But here's something you can have. Not have a meltdown. If something triggers you, learn how to stop it.
But Joey, that's awesome. That's exactly what we want to talk about. Triggers and what can stop it. Now, for you, what are your triggers? I think your triggers are certain sounds. Now, what sounds are
Baby
triggers?
Crying.
Mm-hmm. And small children screaming,
That's
right? You also used to have a trigger of sirens.
Sirens.
And
you think it's the end of the siren means the end of the world as we know it.
So what do you think now?
Think positive and think positive and move on.
Are sirens now the end of the world as we know it?
No.
But back in the day, and I'm going to show some video clips about stuff, about how a neurotypical person will process certain sounds, and how sometimes someone with autism will process certain sounds. And I'm going to put that footage in now. Okay, so you could see the difference where for Joey, certain sounds are very magnified, and for him, but for us, we barely even notice it. Now, everyone says, the experts say it's sensory overload, which is true to a point. Some days your triggers are stronger because of what you said about being tired, being out of schedule, maybe not feeling good, maybe feeling a little bit rushed. Do you think those things contribute to your meltdowns?
It does, absolutely.
And you had a big fight or flight reflex. You would just take off on your meltdowns, right?
That's right.
Ding! We had a light bulb moment, right? The light bulb moment was, now we know certain sound. First of all, we didn't know what bothered you. Every time we try to say what's going on, you would say something that made no sense.
That's right.
Like if you were starting to have your meltdown, and I know the signs, we know the body language and the sound of your voice when things are about to go bad, or as I say, up to level 10, we would say, what's going on, what's bothering you?
Yeah.
Can I tell the story real quick?
Please.
All right, you and I were out shopping one day, and this is at the point that we realized that those sounds, now, we didn't realize those sounds bothered you until you were like probably in your late 20s.
That's
You
right.
never told us. We figured it out. And then for years you tried to say, no, it didn't bother you, but we found out it did. One day you and I were out shopping, and we were out at a strip mall, and I heard a sound, and it sounded like a baby crying. And I looked at you, and I could see you were starting to tense up immediately. I could see your muscles were tense. You had that look on your face like you were about to get really upset. Your hands, you started clenching your hands. You were getting agitated. And here's the light bulb moment, folks. This is key. we looked to the side. We were at the strip mall, and there was a vet's office for animals. And the noise that we thought we heard, we thought was a baby crying. It turned out it was a cat in a cat carrier. Do you remember that?
Yes, this is a case of now known as misunderstanding.
Well, that's my point. The minute I said, hey, Joey, look, it's not a baby, it's a cat. It sounds exactly the same, but it was a cat. You immediately calmed down.
That's right.
And that's when I said, okay, you know what? It's not the sound per se, it's what you perceived the sound to be.
That's
you
right.
thought it was a child or a baby, so you immediately started to get all worked up. But then the minute I said, hey, look, it's not a baby, it's a cat. And then you were fine.
A sigh of relief.
So that was our light bulb moment. That's when we realized, okay, you have the potential to actually help yourself out of a meltdown before it begins. That's when all the growing started. And ever since then, you've been doing fantastic.
That's right.
Do you want to tell other people, other families who have members with autism, ways that help you to overcome a meltdown or to prevent it?
Here's a tip for all of you. If you have symptoms like the one you just heard, think positive. For me, I say think sports history in your head. Because I know I've been doing it for over 45 years. And I'm now about to quit at any moment now. This is one of the things that keeps me calm, the headphones.
That's perfect. So you know if you're going to be in places that have those high-pitched noises, headphones help. So
It does.
doing that. But also, and here's another thing. We were at a friend's house and they were playing crazy loud music.
Alexa, louder! Louder!
And you loved it, right? Everyone
That's
says,
right.
oh, too much stimulation can trigger a meltdown. But you love that Let It Go sing along we play with our friends, right?
I'll never forget that moment.
And they said, louder, louder. And you, what did you do?
I just let it go.
And you loved it. So it's not so much about all the I mean, you've been to Disney, you've been to concerts, you've been to sporting arenas, you've been to parades. It isn't all that noise that bothers you. It's just those specific little noises, those certain ones, right?
And you know what? I don't mind the loudest jet plane that goes by. Tell me about it in Annapolis.
Yes, because we lived there and they had the Blue Angels. And
Yeah, that's right.
that didn't bother you.
I love those Blue Angels.
Yeah, you loved it. And then the biggest mistake I think we did make is once we figured out what your triggered noises were, and this was a mistake on our part because back then nobody knew what was really how to handle this, we avoided those situations. Remember, we didn't really go out, we didn't do anything, and that didn't help you. That only made it worse, right?
That's right.
So learning how to cope. Now you're telling us, sometimes you'll even tell us, which is great, when you're feeling uncomfortable or when a noise is bothering you, and then we go, okay, let's figure it out, right?
That's right.
That's the most important thing, is learning to work through it, not trying to ignore it.
That's right.
Baby steps.
That's right.
So you talked about what calms you down.
And
What else other advice can you give?
one of them is taking breaks. When you're at Disney parks, I told it from an earlier video. If I hear other noises, I'm going to be with other people.
So you're going to tell us if you hear noises that bother you?
That's right.
That's cool. And then we're going to work on it together, right?
That's right.
And this has been a very long process. This has been going on. And this explains a lot of your meltdowns as a child because unfortunately, we had a household between siblings and cousins. We had a household of 7 children
That's right.
at one point for a while. And no wonder things would bother you because our cousins were much younger than us, right?
That's right.
So you had to learn to deal with it. So Joey, is there any babies that don't bother you?
I think we got baby Yoda.
Well, I think you like babies. You just don't like when they're screaming, right?
I like the E-Trade, baby.
Joey! What other baby, please?
Baby Rob Fuzz.
Baby Rob Fuzz doesn't bother you?
No. This is my autism. Yours may differ.
Oh my gosh, Joey.
Wanted to have computers. Wait, there was no computers back in the day. You know, this meltdown thing is not about head coaching in sports. That's a different kind of meltdown.
Yes. But ding! Oh!
I'll try to get
Try
right.
again? Okay. Oh my god. There we ding! We had a light bulb.